G'day guys, Luke here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video guys, we are doing part 2 of the Reptile Room. So this is the Reptile Room update August of 2023 part 2. So for those who haven't seen part 1, I suggest going to check it out after this video. If you're into dragons, skinks, and you also want to see my other goanna that we have in that room, I suggest go check it out. Otherwise, let's see how everyone else is doing in this Reptile Room. So we are in the snake/goanna room, so that's what we're covering today. Before we do get started, for those who haven't seen part 1, we did lose Molly last month, and as well we did lose Chewbacca in about 3 days afterwards. So 2 of my beloved snakes passed away in July. So life for me personally has been quite rough, so I do appreciate guys all the love and support you have given me. But saying that, let's not make this video downer. We'll lift it up and see some crazy animals, hey? Speaking of which, we'll start with this little lunatic. This little guy here is Rosie. Now Rosie here is my little Reptile monitor. As you can see, he's getting quite big, getting quite chunky, and he's a very active little bugger today. So Rosie here is housed in a 4-foot enclosure. In his enclosure, we've got the LED UVB light bars, we've got his heat emitter, fake plants, got branches in there for him to climb up on, like he's doing right now, and bask underneath his heat. He's probably doing that now. Perfect timing, Rosie. We've got 3 hides in here for him to choose from. He doesn't really use this one here. He loves that one, mostly because I wet that down with water. Well, at least the sand in there anyway. Water dish. And yeah. So the substrate, like I mentioned, is sand. A little bit dirty, so I have to clean this out very soon. But I just need to get the time to go and get the materials, I suppose, don't I? Below the young crazy goanna, we've got a pair of 6-foot enclosures. The one directly underneath Rosie, we've got Chris. Now, Chris here is my black-headed python. Went through a shed cycle recently, and he's probably not too far, being 8 feet in length. Hey, you're getting nice and big, aren't you? Quite chunky too, aren't you? Now, hopefully one day I can get Chris sex. That way we know what gender Chris is, because I'm kind of curious what he or she is. Saying that, nothing too crazy going in Chris's life. After all, he is a snake, and they don't tend to do much, and nothing really happens badly towards them, or at least him. And the video quality has dropped. So after his enclosure, I'll reset. So anyway, got his heat, backing, 2 hides, water bowl. We got his substrate, a branch, and a light strip in there to display his enclosure. But yeah, that is Chris's enclosure. I'll just stop the film here and pick it up. Okay, let's see how that goes with this. Below Chris, we've got the very, very naughty Ray. Now, Ray here is my Rosenberg monitor. Now, while today when I was cleaning the glass and just servicing the enclosure to make it look more representable for the video, he thought my pinky here was food, and he absolutely mauled it. So, thanks, mate. I'm hoping I don't need stitches. I don't think I will. It was quite a deep cut, and I bled a fair bit, but I should be fine, guys. A few chosen words were said after he bit me, but let's be honest, I think anyone would do the same thing. Other than that, Ray's doing just fine, smashing food. It's kind of a bit of a crazy bugger when I let him out, though. I let Ray out to explore the house. However, since he bit me, he won't get to do that this week. Kind of grounded this week. When I do handle him, he's lost that kind of motive to try and turn around and bite me. He still huffs and puffs and trying to dig his claws into my skin. So I have to get some dog clippers or at least something to help trim those nails, as they are getting ridiculously long and sharp. So just for my sake and his health, we'll trim those soon. Anyway, enough rambling. In his enclosure, we've got the heat, UV light bars, his backing, a couple of fake plants, a couple hides, a water bowl, substrate, and also a couple of rocks in here, just to use as a kind of a platform for his bowls, because he likes to fill them up with substrate. Hey, naughty lizard, aren't you? Thanks for doing some damage to my hand. Don't need any more wounds. Anyway, who should we do next? You know what? Let's go down here next. Below all these smaller enclosures, we've got a nice big one down here. So this is a 4-foot enclosure. In this enclosure houses my albino down carpet python. Just trying to get a good angle of it. Of course, the reflection. And no, I've got to open it. Bugger. I was trying to cheat and leave Charles be, but plan B. So here's Charles, who is my albino down carpet python. I'll leave him be. I might have to downsize him down to a 3-foot enclosure soon. He hasn't really seemed comfortable the whole time in this enclosure. To be honest, he hasn't really liked the glass enclosure, so I might try putting him in a wooden one to see how he goes. Otherwise, he'll shed pretty much every month, and he'll probably eat once a month too. So we'll leave him be. He has been kind of in a bit of a mood lately, and I'll be honest, I did not want to get bitten again today. Well, to be honest, I have been bitten by Dusty. For those who haven't seen part 1, go and check it out to see who Dusty is. But yeah, Dusty bit me, so I've kind of taken 2 bites today. One minor one and one major one. But anyway, in Charles' enclosure, we've got a couple of branches in here for the perch on, 2 hides, a water bowl, fake plant, heat and a light strip, a hammock that he can lie about and chill out, or should I say warm up, because he's underneath his heat. Anyway, bad joke. That was called our little Charles. Above him, in these 2 60cm enclosures, we've got 2 snakes as well. In that one, we've got a spider python. Then next door, we've got a children's python. Before we get into the 2 snakes, both are pretty much set up similar. So Caesar has 3 hides while Aaron has 2. Both have got a heat pad, water bowls, branches, backing, and a shadow light strip with a couple of other snakes above them, who we'll get to in a moment. But yeah, pretty much identical setup. So I don't know if he does show his little face, but this guy here is Caesar. He's a male blonde spider python. I did pair him up with Aaron last season before I separated these 2 this year. As I'll be honest, it was a lot of work trying to get, 30 children python babies up and going, and it took a lot on me. So this year I'm just going to focus on the 1 pair and just regather my bearings and go from there. Plus, I'm trying to keep things as pure as possible. I just chucked these 2 in together to see what happened, and fair enough, it happened. So I'm going to keep children's with children's and spiders with spiders, if that's the case. Now, his ex-girlfriend Erin was out earlier, so she's gone back to bed. So here's our little house here, and that's Caesar's house there, so get a better look. So here's Erin. She's a sweetheart. She's an escape artist, though, I will mention. But she's for a children, she's pretty beautiful. So I'm trying to juggle the camera to give you guys a better focus point and look at this beautiful girl. But there's Erin. Please don't come over and bite me. That's the last thing I want again today, is get bitten by something else. It hasn't been my day, to be honest, with you guys. Now, where did I put that lock? Great. I'll look for it in a second. Give me a moment, guys. The last thing I want is this psycho getting out and causing havoc to my family. Anyway, let's continue on. So up here, we've got a pair of 70cm enclosures. We'll start over in this one. In here, we've got Diablo, who is my brown tree snake. He's kind of been in a found mood lately, but he's still a beautiful snake. Hey, buddy, you know the strike? Oh, you made a mess behind there. Thanks, buddy. So Diablo's kind of half shown, half not today. He's my brown tree snake after all, doing excellent, smashing food. When I do get him out, he's such a baby. But in his house, he's like little, what's the small dog? Jack Russell. They're always going for your ankles, I guess. In this case, he's going for your wrist. But anyway, he's going excellent. In his enclosure, guys, we've got a backing. I've got a cave incorporated into it. A couple of branches, fake plant, water bowl. He's got a hide here and another one over there. It shares a heat pad and the light strip with the rest of the snakes on this shelf, pretty much. Well, the light strip goes all the way down. The heat pad goes to next door. Speaking of which, we'll go over to his neighbour. So this is Snickers. Snickers here is another children python, but she's a wheat belt. She's kind of been acting funny lately. I think she's in the mood to do the, activity that requires making babies. So I'm not breeding her this season. I'm half thinking of either, if Valentino is a male, pair him up with her when he's older, or finding a male wheat belt and have wheat belt babies. Don't know, see how it would go. I'll let you guys know what happens, I guess. Close that back up. Put that there. Oh, well, she's doing quite well, other than the fact that she's in the mood for, know what, for those who are older audience. In her enclosure, like I mentioned, she shares a heat pad and light strip with others. Got a substrate, water well, a couple of fake plants, a couple of caves. She's got a backing and a couple of branches in here as well for her to climb up on. But yeah, that's Snickers and the rest of them. To the other side of the snack room, guys, I don't want to disturb these two because they're both kind of in the mood for, what. So in here, we've got my two children pythons, Emma and Azula. This one coming out to bite me or trying to tell me to bugger off is Emma. He's the boy. And that lighted coloured one you probably just see behind him is a small part of Azula. But I won't disturb them today because it's that time of year where these guys do breed. So I don't want to disturb them and be successful again with these two. But the third year in a row that I've been with these two. So fingers crossed, all goes well. So they're set up, guys. It's a 3-foot enclosure. They've got 3 hides in there. They've got the substrate, water bowl, rocks. They just have to shed their skin. We've got the fake plant. There's a heat pad under here, underneath that hide. There's a backing and a display light above them. But other than that, both snakes in there doing well. Like I mentioned, they are in the mood. Next door to them, we've got Superstar and Graham, who are my 2 female blind spot pythons. Now, I would not breed these guys, probably never, to be honest, only because they're my babies. Now, I don't have any favourites, but these are my first ever snakes, and I do not want anything happening to them. Anyway, we'll say hello to Superstar first. She's in this hide here today. Hey, gorgeous girl. So she's, like I mentioned, doing well, smashing food. Camera's out of focus, me juggling it. So there's Superstar. She's the eldest out of the bunch. She'll be 14 in November. So she's getting there slowly, aren't she, girl? You've still got plenty of years up here. No worries. Before we get to the other snake, we've got 3 hides. We've got the heat, display light, backing, branch, fake plant, rock, woodish, and substrate. To the other side of the enclosure, in this other hide here, if we can get in here, is young Graham. Well, I want to say young. She's only 1 month younger than Superstar. Graham here goes off food around this time of year. She'll probably start eating again about October. By saying that, yeah, nothing to report on Graham. She's just been sleeping for the most part and keeping out of trouble, unlike her cage mate who likes to get into trouble. But they're both beautiful girls, and I can't hold a grudge on either of them. Below them, we've got another pair of 6-foot enclosures. First one I'm going to cover off is Chappie and Orchid, who are my 2 central carpet pythons. So Chappie's up here. He's in shed, in his favourite spot in that corner. And his lovely girlfriend Orchid is behind the hide there. She's also in shed. So I'm not going to disturb them. I'm going to leave them be. Plus, I will try and breed these 2 again this year, see what happens. But no guarantees. It's just a fun little project, to be honest. And it's great for me to know when they're breeding, they're happy, they're healthy. I'm doing pretty much everything correctly for them to breed. Anyway, in the enclosure, got a backing with 3 different ledges from the sit on. We've got fake plants, water bowl, and a couple of big caves in here, substrate, heat, and just a light strip in here as well to light up the enclosure. But yeah, that's them 2, nothing to report. And down here to the last 2 snakes who, okay. That's a bit odd. Anyway, sorry, I just didn't realise they were all stretched out. So in this 6-foot enclosure here, we've got my 2 diamond pythons. So this one here, the darker one is Atrum, and the one behind him is Aurelia. It sucks that the camera doesn't pick up how yellow Aurelia is in person. Saying that though, Aurelia is probably going back into a shed, because every time we do this, she's in the shed. So Aurelia is a high yellow diamond, while Atrum is more of a darker one, but he's starting to slowly get his yellows coming through him. I'm not too sure if you guys can see that. So in amongst the kind of darkness there, you've got these little yellow speckling coming through. Now I'm not too sure what genders they are. I'm hoping one's a male, one's a female. Because it'd be great to breed these two. Anyway, we've got a heat. Since the diamond pythons, they do require UVB. Diamonds and green tree pythons are the only two snake species here in Australia that require UVB. So I have to put this in there. Just for their health, obviously. They've got a branch out. Both of them are stretched out across. There is another one here, but they love stretching across this one here. Got their backing. 3 hides for them to choose from. 2 underneath the heat, 1 in the cool end. Substrate, water bowl, and that's about it. So that'll be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you haven't seen part 1, go and check it out. See the other half of the family. And like I said, guys, thank you for the support and love you guys have given me for this month. It's been kind of rough, but we will get there as a group. But I'll wrap it up here, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.